Feel free to check out my TeePublic after the video, and support me on Patreon. Watch till the end of the video for more. Kaneto Shindo is a beloved Japanese film director responsible for movies like Kuroneko, Children of Hiroshima, and The Naked Island. One of the films he directed was a 1964 horror period piece known as Onibaba, or Demon Hag when you translate it. It is regarded as one of the greatest Japanese films ever made and has influenced many filmmakers like William Friedkin and Guillermo del Toro, mainly when you look at the demonic face of Pazuzu in The Exorcist, and in Pacific Rim, where one of the kaiju is named after the film. Shindo also worked as a screenwriter for countless films such as The Battle of Okinawa, Under the Flag of the Rising Sun, The Whale God, and Deathquake. Yeah, he had some stinkers, but his talent is undeniable. Onibaba was inspired by a Buddhist fable titled A Mask with Flesh Scared a Wife, where a widow named Kiyo lives with her mother-in-law and finds comfort in visiting a Buddhist temple every night. The mother-in-law, Omoto, being miserable and jealous of Kiyo's comfort, attempts to scare Kiyo away from the temple by dressing up like a demon, wearing an ancestral demonic mask. There are lots of parallels present when you compare the two. While the Buddhist fable that inspired Shindo was thematically about the mercy of the Buddha, Onibaba is a thematic piece on sexuality and being a cautionary tale of sexual jealousy and passion that is quite rooted in human nature. In the film, the setting is 14th century Japan when the country was experiencing a civil war. A man named Hachi, played by Kei Sato, enters the home of a mother and her daughter-in-law, played by Nobuko Otawa and Jitsuko Yoshimura respectively. He then tells them that the mother's son, who is married to her daughter-in-law, died while they were out in battle. It is also this scene where very strong ties to what Japan was going through during World War II are present, as Hachi begins talking about how terrible the war situation is, while the mother talks about how their living situation has only worsened as the war went on, due to failed crops, people trying to escape the war and bringing their troubles with them, and so on, which, when you look into it, almost perfectly mirrors Japan's final years during World War II. Anyway, while they're distraught by the news, the mother grows a disliking to Hachi and blames him for her son's death, while Hachi becomes interested in her daughter-in-law, in which he eventually succeeds in seducing her, as they would then see each other every night. The mother grows jealous and tries to confront them both about the situation, and it doesn't help. She even tries to seduce Hachi herself, only for him to reject her advances. But one night, she is visited by a warrior donning the mask of a demon. Why does he wear a mask? Well, it's because he has a face so beautiful that he must protect it during battle. He also claims that any woman who sees his face would immediately fall in love with him. It's also important to note that this specific mask is a Hanya mask, used in No theater to represent a jealous female demon. They go out in the night, and the woman tricks the warrior into falling down a hole, where she would then remove the mask and see that his face is covered in scars. The mother would then wear the mask herself and use it to scare her daughter-in-law and keep her from seeing Hachi, which does end up working. And what I'm about to talk about next contains heavy spoilers for the film's ending, so I'll go ahead and give you about 5 seconds to skip to the timecode on screen. You still here? Well, can't say I didn't warn you. In the final scene of Onibaba, the mother discovers that after getting wet in the rain, the mask is impossible to remove. She reveals to her daughter-in-law that she was the one scaring her away from Hachi because of her jealousy, and begs her to take the mask off for her. And after promising her that she can continue to see Hachi, the daughter-in-law tries to take it off, but every time she pulls on it, the mother is in great pain. So the daughter-in-law resorts to using a hammer to try and break it off, and after a couple of strikes, blood starts pouring from underneath the mask, with the mother crying that she is dying. Eventually, the mask breaks off, and it is revealed that the mother's face is covered with the same scarring as the warrior, which scares her daughter-in-law into running away, thinking she's really a demon, where the mother then chases her, trying to convince her that she is still human, and the film ends. This is a truly horrific scene, and every time I watch it, I grow very uncomfortable. I can't imagine the pain of having something literally pull your entire face off, and the reveal after the mask is destroyed still gets me every time. It's truly haunting. And another thing is that the scene draws parallels to survivors of the atomic bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki at the end of World War II, as they were faced with prejudice and ridicule as if they weren't human. which the influence is present when the mother cries that she is a human being before the film ends. The film also treads an ambiguous line of whether or not certain events that happen in the film are supernatural or circumstantial. Aside from being a truly horrifying film as it progresses, Onibaba is very beautiful to look at as it's shot incredibly well. And this is thanks to the film being shot on location in Inba Marsh, which is located in Chiba Prefecture. It really adds to the atmosphere as being both ordinary and believable in an unsettling manner. And on top of that, the scoring by Hikaru Hayashi just adds to the creep factor, being loud and abrupt while fitting the mood and setting of the film. If you're looking for something to watch to celebrate Halloween indoors, Onibaba is a must-watch. As far as I know, it's only available on DVD as part of the Criterion Collection and hasn't been upgraded to a Blu-ray format yet. However, it does have a Blu-ray release in the UK if you live there or are lucky enough to have a region-free player. But I'm sure nowadays there are ways you can find a rip of the Blu-ray online and download the subtitle track, which totally isn't how I watched it. Anyway, if you like what you see, then definitely consider supporting me on Patreon, where for a single $1, your name can appear at the end of every future upload. Other than that, you can also get early access to videos, exclusive content, commissioned video requests, and receive a t-shirt of your choice from my TeePublic, such as this design based on the film Onibaba. Once I reach enough patrons, I'll review the Yokai Monsters trilogy, so if that's something you'd like to see, then go support me on Patreon. Feel free to like, share, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff, and this is TitanGoji, signing off.